So today, we're diving into a vision from the final frontier, one that weaves together artificial intelligence, space exploration, and incredible indigenous wisdom. It's a truly audacious plan to build a digital future that's not just more sustainable, but also more just. Let's get right into it.
Look, we are all living through this AI revolution, right? It feels like magic, happening invisibly up there in the cloud. But behind that cloud is a massive physical infrastructure with a very real and, frankly, a very rapidly growing environmental footprint. So what's the hidden price tag for all this incredible new tech?
Well, the answer is data centers. These colossal server farms are the real engines of AI, but they are incredibly thirsty. A single large data center can burn through as much electricity as a small city and guzzle massive amounts of fresh water just for cooling, often in places that are already dealing with water shortages. As AI keeps getting bigger and bigger, this way of doing things, it's just not going to work long term.
And this brings us to a really radical idea. To solve this growing problem we have here on Earth, what if we need to look up? What if the perfect place, the ideal environment, to build the future of AI isn't on Earth at all? What if it's up there, in the cold, sun-drenched vacuum of space?
Okay, so first, let's really dig into the challenge we're facing right here on the ground. Because the AI boom, it has this unseen environmental cost that, honestly, is turning into a full-blown crisis.
And this chart, wow, it just lays it all out, plain and simple. On Earth, data centers are chained to the electrical grid, which often means burning fossil fuels. They use an insane amount of water and energy just to keep from overheating, and they take up huge tracts of land. But in orbit, it's a completely different story. You get unlimited 100% reliable solar power. The vacuum of space gives you perfect passive cooling for free, which means zero water needed, and of course, zero land use. It's a total paradigm shift in the environmental equation.
And you know, this isn't some far-off sci-fi dream anymore. The tech to actually put these superpowered data centers into orbit, it's here, right now. And it's moving from just an idea to a reality as we speak.
And hey, the proof is literally in orbit right now. A company called StarCloud recently launched its StarCloud 1 satellite, and it's carrying an NVIDIA H100 that's the same kind of heavy-duty GPU used to train huge language models right here on Earth. This isn't just a little test, folks. We're talking 100 times more powerful than anything that's ever been operated in space before. It's a huge milestone that proves enterprise-grade AI in orbit is officially a thing.
So what does that all boil down to? A massive, massive leap in efficiency. I mean, think about it. You get rid of those huge cooling costs, you get free, non-stop solar power, and boom. The projection is a 10x drop in operational energy costs compared to the same setup on the ground. That is a total game changer, not just for the bottom line, but for the planet.
But here's where this story gets really deep. This isn't just about cool hardware in space. At its core, this whole thing is a movement to reclaim power, to find justice in this new digital age. It's asking a really, really important question. Who's going to own this new infrastructure? And who's going to benefit from it?
And the answer, the guiding light for this entire project, is a concept called Indigenous data sovereignty. This is the fundamental right, grounded in law, for Indigenous peoples to govern their own data. For way too long, that data about their communities, their lands, their cultures, it was just taken by researchers, by companies, by governments, often with zero benefit flowing back. This whole principle is about stopping that cycle for good.
In Canada, this gets really specific with what are called the OCAP principles. Ownership means it's their information. Control means they call the shots on how it's used. Access means they can never be locked out of their own story. And possession, that means they have the right to literally hold their data. So you see, an Indigenous-owned data center in space, that's the ultimate expression of these principles. It's about finally putting that data securely back into Indigenous hands.
And let's be super clear about something. This is not about waiting for someone to give them permission or needing outside experts to come in and save the day. No way. The leadership, the talent, the incredible vision, it's already there, thriving in Indigenous communities all across North America.
I mean, just look at the amazing work that's already happening in the Indigenous Pathfinders in AI program. You've got AI being used to help bring back the buffalo. That's about food sovereignty. You have another one using gaming to teach and revitalize the Mohawk language. See, these aren't just tech projects for the sake of tech. They are deeply, deeply connected to community values, to keeping culture alive, and to self-determination.
And this quote from Paula Starr, the CIO of the Cherokee Nation, just says it all.
AI must serve the collective good and uphold Cherokee values. If a tool compromises that, it doesn't belong in our nation's systems. That right there, that's a totally different way of thinking about technology. It's not about the hype. It's about asking, does this serve our people? Does this align with our values? That values-first mindset is what makes this approach so powerful.
Okay, so this all sounds incredible, right? But how do you actually make it happen? How do you go from a powerful idea to a real-world blueprint? Well, let's take a look. Because this plan isn't just about cool tech. It's designed from the ground up to be economically empowering.
All right, check out this economic model for just a 20-satellite setup. It is fascinating. It's projecting almost $380 million in annual revenue. But here's the part that really matters. Look at that line. Indigenous community dividends. Half of the net income, more than $125 million a year, is projected to go straight back to the indigenous nations involved. For 15 nations, that works out to over $8 million each every single year. That's not just money. That's funding for healthcare, for schools, for bringing back languages. It's the engine for real economic sovereignty.
And the roadmap to get there? Yeah, it's ambitious, but it is crystal clear. It all kicks off in 2026, forming a consortium and getting the funding lined up. By 2028, we're talking about the first satellites actually being in orbit. Just 2 years after that, it's projected to be profitable and scaling up. And the big goal, by 2035, to be a major global player, showing the world a whole new way to lead in technology.
And all of this brings us to the really profound idea, the philosophy that's holding this entire vision together. And man, is it different from the short-term, what's the next quarterly report look like mindset that drives so much of the tech world?
It's called the 7-generation principle. It's this incredible approach to making decisions where you have to think about how it's going to affect people 7 generations from now. We're talking 150 years into the future. So when you use that lens to build something like an AI cloud, you're not just asking, is it fast? Is it profitable today? You're forced to ask the bigger questions. Is it sustainable? Is it just? Is this creating a world that our great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren will thank us for?
And that leaves us with one last big idea to chew on. In a world that is just obsessed with getting faster, with exponential growth, and that whole move fast and break things mentality, what if the biggest innovation we could make is to just slow down and think long-term? This whole project suggests that maybe, just maybe, the future of technology doesn't belong to the people who move the fastest, but to the ones who can see the furthest.